Good morning, everyone. This is Karen Craigmile. I want to welcome you all to our training today. We're going to talk about how to upload a batch of claims today. So welcome. Now, before I get started, I first want to mention that I do have everyone muted. I muted you so that your background conversations and noises don't broadcast for everyone to hear. But even though you're muted, you do have the ability to ask questions throughout the training today. Simply type them in the question box and we'll do our best to get a private answer sent back to you. So thank you all so much for joining me today. And if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started. But like I say, if you have any questions at all throughout the training, just type them in the questions box and we'll send an answer back to you. So today, before I show you how to upload a batch of claims, I'm also going to show you how to log into VisionWeb. From their homepage, you just simply click the login button in the top right-hand corner. And then, once you get to the login screen, just type in your username and password and click Submit. Oh, I must not have the correct password anymore. Let me see if I can try that again. There we go. So once you've typed in your username and password, all you do is just glide over to Payer Transactions, and then underneath it, glide over to New Zermed Claims. Click that, and it will take you within the partner portal. So I'm going to pretend I've already done that, and now I'm inside the partner portal. So when it brings you to the dashboard screen, to upload a batch of claims, you simply glide your mouse across the blue bar and hover over Claims Processing. Once there, you would click on either Professional Claims. If anyone does submit UB04s, that would be under Institutional Claims. Otherwise, the CMS 1500 form is basically Professional Claims. So here under Professional, to get to the Batches screen, you simply click on the Batches link over to the right. Now, notice it takes me within the Professional Claims solution, specifically to the Batches screen. Now, prior to coming here, you would typically go to your system and create a file of claims that you want to upload. Once you have that file created, you then come here to Batches and give your batch a name. It doesn't have to be a date. It can be whatever you want to call it. And then glide over across this gray bar area here at the top, glide over to the right to click the Browse button. You'll click Browse, and it will take you out within your system so that you can find the file that you created that holds your batch of claims that you want to upload. So use the Browse to go out into your system and locate your file. Once you locate it, simply double-click on the file name, and that will fill the file name here in this file box for you. And then you would simply click Go. And that would upload your batch. It will always display the most recent batch on the top row. So notice it shows you the date it was submitted. And every batch you upload gets assigned a unique batch ID number. That's important. You can always locate a batch's batch ID number right here. And notice you can, up here in your search filter area, you can search for a specific batch by typing in the batch ID and click Go. So if you need help with a particular batch, you'll want to reference the batch ID. It also shows the name of the batch that you gave it when you uploaded it right there. And it shows the format of the file and the user that uploaded the batch. And then it'll show you how many claims were submitted. Now, of the claims that were submitted, how many are being processed? That will list right here. And notice the process numbers are links that you can click. So if you click that 3, it will pop you from batches over to claims, where you can see the detailed information about those 3 claims on display. So this is a quick way to get to those particular claims. To the right is the charges, and it also shows you how many claims are currently rejected in the batch. Now, the discarded function, typically you would always see a 0 here. If anything other than 0 shows up here, you would want to pay attention to that, because the discarded function only happens if during name matching, which is like a housekeeping task that you may do for any brand new payers that come over. If during name matching you've name matched a new payer to be discarded, that tells us when we receive claims for that payer, we automatically discard them, meaning it's like we put them in a virtual dumpster, okay? It basically means we do not send claims out the door for any payers that have been designated to be discarded. But this column will tell you if you've uploaded a batch that has claims in it that we are discarding on your behalf. So if a quantity appears here, it will be a link that you can click, and it will show you some basic information about the claim that we've discarded on your behalf. So if you cannot get particular claims to stop coming over in your batches to begin with, name matching, payer name matching specifically, may be a way to help you, discard anything that you would not want to go out the door. So, and there will be training later on name matching. But just know that any number here would be a link that you could click to see a little bit of information about the claim, such as the patient's name and so on, to see what was discarded. Now over to the right is the status of the batch. You have to wait for the word complete to pop up there before you can do anything with the batch. That way you know it's finished processing. And you can always click the status of the batch and it pops up a batch history window. In the history window, it repeats the batch ID. Remember, why is that batch ID important? Well, that ID you could use to refer to in an email, or if you need help with a particular batch, you will want to refer to the batch ID. It also shows the user that uploaded the batch name and the date, and all the totals with the batch. And then down here in the bottom area, this is where it will show all the events that happen with the batch. So you can see all of that history there. I'll close that window, and that takes me right back where I was. So just click the status to view the history. Also, if you hover over to more, if you click on it, it gives you 3 additional options. Typically, you would not hide a batch. You want to leave your good batches on display. But if you have a batch that the status says an error, then you might want to go ahead and hide any errored batches. To do so, you would go to More and click the Hide button. Hide, archive, it means the same thing. So it's just like archiving that batch if you click Hide. The moment you hide one, it automatically hides all the claims that you submitted in that batch. And that's important, so I'm going to repeat that, okay? Anytime you hide a batch, it automatically hides all the claims that were submitted in the batch. And once you hide something, the hide option changes to an unhide option. Now, you can also rename a batch. Just click Rename, and it pops up a new window where you can type in the new name and click Save. Or, under More, you can click Payer Breakout, and it just pops up this breakout report. This report is basically a report of totals. It shows you the batch ID and the date it was generated and some of the totals based upon some statuses that you might see, whether or not the claim was accepted by Zirmed or rejected by Zirmed, or if it was accepted by the payer or rejected by the payer. You'll see the totals there. And it's all broken down at the bottom by payer ID. So you can see all the payer IDs, the payer names, and the total charges. And then if any were test claims, it would display those there. And then the rest of these are different statuses that you could potentially see. at least through this one, rejected by payer. But all 3 of the claims in this batch are rejected by VisionWeb at the moment. Now, hidden claim count, this would show if any of them have been hidden in the batch, and then the total claim count. If there were any EOB pages or paper claims versus electronic claims, how many were edited and resubmitted, and how many were hidden. Were they accepted when they were hidden, or were they rejected claims when they were hidden? So you get all of those totals. And you can print this summary or download the data to a spreadsheet if you would like to. Okay, so I'll close that window. So those are the 3 items that are under action. Hide the batch completely, which again you would not want to do if there's good claims that are pending in that batch, or rename the batch, or view the breakout report. Now when we get your claims, we put them through 2 basic edits. So that if they don't pass our edits, that's when you may see rejected by VisionWeb as the status, things like that. And all of those statuses and more details about the claims that you've submitted will be on the claim screen. And again, that's a different training from today's, but the claim screen is where you would go to see the details about the claims that you've submitted. Also notice every batch has a checkbox. So if I wanted to do something with these 3 batches, I could come down here and notice that there's a check all to check all of them on the page, or a clear all. But again, let's say I want to do something with these 3. Well, these are the tasks that I can perform right here. I could hide them, or click more to unhide them, or rename them. It pops up that rename box so you can give it a new name. So those are the options. I'll go ahead and clear all though. And in this area, this is your search filter area. So if you want to search for a batch with a specific name, type it in there and click search. Or search for a batch with a specific status and then hit search. Or a certain format, a file format. Or the default is it'll default to the last 6 months worth of batches on display, but you can push it back as far as 2 years. 2 years is as far back as you can see your claims within here. Once a claim hits the 2-year mark, we automatically archive it. Now you can also click custom and put in a specific date range that you want, as long as it's within the last 2 years. So if you want a certain week or day or month, you can put that in there. Now let's say I want to view the claims that I've hidden. I can check this box, click search, and it'll redisplay any batches that have been hidden. You'll see this bold black line letting you know that it's a hidden batch. It then shows the username of the person that hid it and the date and time that it was hidden. So for example, this is an example of a batch that errored. Any errored batches will be in red. So these all errored because the batch file was a duplicate batch. When you see that, that means the file that was uploaded was byte for byte identical to a previously uploaded batch. So the file was exactly the same as one that had already been uploaded. So when that happens, we error it and give it this message so that you know that it was a duplicate that you tried to upload. Another error you might see is error during X12 batch processing. That means that it was not a good claim file. Either it didn't have a good beginning or end, or maybe it wasn't even a claim file at all. Basically, when you were browsing and uploading your batch, maybe when you browsed, you accidentally clicked on the wrong thing altogether. So this just means it was not a good file. So in that case, you would want to go back into your system, make sure you've got a good file created, and then come up here and give it a name again and browse and find the right file that you intend to upload and double click on it, and then you'll see the name fill in here and then click go. So now if I don't want to display my hidden batches any longer, I can uncheck include hidden, hit search, and it tucks them away behind the scenes, so that you just have your good batches on display. Now, when you submit a batch of claims, you need to pretty much assume that they're gone. They're going to the payers. There's no real way to stop a batch, so to speak. So even if you were to go here and hide a batch, that does not necessarily stop the claims, okay? It just hides it off the screen, tucks it away, and archives them, okay? And that's basically your batch screen and the search filters. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've gone over? If you do, open up that questions box and type your questions in. Somebody asks, where can I retrieve a hidden batch? Well, like I say, if you click Include Hidden and hit Search, the hidden ones will have this bold black line letting you know that's a hidden one. And notice when I go over to More on a hidden one, there's the Unhide option. So you can always unhide it if needed. And somebody's asking about being able to see rejected claims in the specific detail. There's a couple ways of seeing that. For one, you can see it on the claims screen. And your dashboard will tell you how many claims you currently have rejected. So there's a couple different ways of looking into that detail. But again, that's a future training. That's not particularly in today's training. As far as the format, we take many different types of formats of files. The latest and greatest, I would say, is probably 837 5010, but we'll take any type of format, or I shouldn't say any, but there are quite a few formats that we can take. So somebody wants me to review how to upload the batch again. Well, like I say, when you're ready to upload a batch, you would first go to your system and create the file. Once it's created, you come here to Professional Claims, hover Claims Processing, click Professional Claims, and click the Batches screen by clicking the Batches link. It brings you here to Batches. Then you give your batch a name. I'll just call mine January 10th. If I'm uploading a batch today, you might want to use the date, but it doesn't have to be a date. It can be whatever you want to call the name. And then you would go over to Browse, click this button, and it just simply pops up a window where you can go out to your C drive or your F drive or whatever drive you need to go to on your computer, your system, to find the file that you created. When you locate your file on your system, double-click on it, and that will automatically fill in the file name, and then you just click Go. And it just then will display your most recent batch on the top row there. Let me uncheck that and hit Search again. The processing time, somebody's asking how long does it take to process? Basically, it varies, I'll be honest. It depends on the time of day and the volume of claims that we're receiving at that time. There's a lot of different factors. If you are waiting for a batch to process, then the status will just say processing. It won't say complete there. So it may take some time, meaning less than an hour, but other days it may take a little more. It just depends. But if you have any issue with that, you'd want to give us a call. And yes, you do name your batch yourself. Okay? And again, this training today is not about how to fix rejected claims. That would be a different training, but you can go to the claims screen to see the claims that you've submitted. For example, I'll click this 3 to go to this particular batch of 3 claims, and it takes me to the claims screen with those 3 on display. So it'll tell you if they're rejected, and you could hover over one and click Edit to edit the claim. Okay? So that's how you can go to a particular group. Now, if you guys have any questions later, you can always send your questions to Anna Romano. Her email is aromano@visionweb.com. And the next training session will be this Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be over the eligibility solution. Okay. I see that you guys are asking more questions, and they're responding to your questions as I speak here. Let's see here. Just taking a look at some of the questions coming over to see if there's something that everyone could benefit from. And somebody asked me to repeat Anna's email address. Her name is Anna Romano, and her email address is aromano@visionweb.com. Does that help? Did everybody get the email address successfully? Now this Thursday at 11 Eastern, I'll be training on eligibility. So you'll definitely want to get registered for that if needed. And then the next one will be remits training. I believe that's the following Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, Karen, this is Shane, and
hey, Shane.
I wanted to say a few words, if I may.
Absolutely.
I'm the senior insurance manager, the department head at VisionWeb, and I see a few of these questions, and I can see that there's a bit of confusion in regards to kind of the uploading process and what we've got going on during this conversion. So I wanted to see if I could use this forum to answer a few of those questions. One of the questions that I've got is, when can we start using it, and about uploading, and are we uploading, are you uploading? Let me go through this with you so that it's clear. Hopefully it's clear. We should be receiving a mapping file from each of your offices. You've gotten emails where you can do upload on the login screen. There's an orange button on the website, and you can upload your batches to that queue, as well as go ahead and go to Imdion and upload them. And so the reason we're doing that is so that once you do become live with ZirMed, we will take all of your historical batches and then run them through ZirMed's system, not for the purpose of making them process, because that would have already happened via the upload to Imdion, but rather so that the data is in ZirMed's system so you can manipulate it at a later date. So we're going to catch those, we're going to push those claims through so the data is available to you, but they won't actually process. Now let's walk that down the line. Let's say you get a ERA from Blue Cross Blue Shield that you submitted to Imdion. The claim was originally submitted via Imdion. And after January 31st, you don't have access to that any longer. If you put that batch in that queue that we're discussing, you would be able to then go pull up that claim in ZirMed's system, edit it, and resend it via their system. So that's why that particular aspect of this is important, so that we can make sure that you have as much data as you possibly can. And then as far as when you can start using it, once we receive that first file from you, and many of you have already sent it, if you have not sent it, please do so the next time you upload claims. The reason is that we go and map the file and point to the data and basically do some programming. And that way, when you upload files from that point forward, the system knows where to look for the data. Once you send that file to us and it gets mapped, we have the ability to turn your account on. It's just a matter of your comfort level in using the service. So, if you have a high comfort level already, then, we can turn it on and you can start going live. The sooner you use it, the better, because that means less data is flowing through the MDON side rather than the ZerMed side. So we'll be doing webinars both on the 12th and the 17th. I believe the 12th, Karen, is for claim not submission, but working rejects and that type of thing.
I was told eligibility, actually.
Eligibility, okay.
Eligibility,
okay,
yeah.
My bad.
That's okay.
So yeah, on the 12th is check eligibility, yes, and on the 17th is working your remits.
Right.
So my apologies, Karen.
No problem.
That's kind of the logic behind the us asking you to upload those files twice, and especially the first time. We need that mapping file in order to move your account along and have it mapped. Let me see if I can go through a few more of these questions. Excuse the pause, and some of these may be Karen may be better suited to answer. Let me read through them real quick, and we'll throw a couple out. Okay. So let's see.
Where?
Let's see. And Anna, if you see one.
Someone's asking, where do we send the mapping files?
Okay. Where do you send the mapping files? Karen, would you be so kind as to go back to the login screen?
Oh, absolutely. Let me pull that back up again. Let me go back. You mean from the beginning or right here? Okay.
Go ahead and log in.
VisionWeb, okay.
Yeah, any of them.
There you go.
Okay, right there. Now down at the bottom you'll see that orange button that says upload your claims. That is, that's where you would go to give a mapping file to us, as well as a repository for your batches so that we can push them through to ZerMed. You would continue to submit until you actually do go live, which can be in short order, quite frankly, if you're comfortable with the system. And it is very intuitive. But you would go ahead and submit your claims as you normally would through payer transactions and MDON, as well as hit that orange button and upload the same batch to that orange, to that repository. It's encrypted so that it's secure. So that's where you would upload them. Anna, you got another one for me?
Yeah, a few people are trying the orange upload button, but it's not working for them.
Okay. If you're trying to upload files via that orange upload button, and you've got some, it's opening up but then not transmitting the file, then one, try a different browser. But two, barring that, give me a call or or email me, and I will set you up with your own personal link that you can use that's not subject to a website's firewalls and that type of thing. So really what we have to have is the mapping file, the initial file. So I'll give you my email address and my phone number, and we can get that mapping file from you. And then after that, really it's keeping those claim files, the additional claim files, accessible to us once you go live so we can push them through. So that's the reason for that. But essentially, if you're not able to upload to that orange button, please email me at my first initial, which is S, my last and my last name. Here, I'm going to type it in the notes, okay? That way everybody can see it. There we go. So
yeah,
it should be down there in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody can see the chat though. Oh, you did put entire audience, my bad. So yeah, they should be able to see that.
So
Perfect.
just give me an email, and we'll reach out to you in some form or fashion, whether it's send you a link or give you a call, and we'll make sure that you have a method of transmission. You got another?
Yeah, someone asked, besides the Thursday seminar, is there another day for the 12th? Those will be
for the
recorded.
12th. We're recording all of these webinars, and they will be made available. Jeff, would you speak to how they're, are we going to email them out to the attendees?
Yeah, we're going to be emailing them to the attendees afterwards.
Okay. So if you were a part of this group, you'll receive a copy of this recording, as well as we're going to make it available in some form or fashion online.
Yeah.
If there is a huge demand, Karen, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I noticed someone said they couldn't see the email, so I was just going to mention, if you were done, that it is sshepard@visionweb.com, in case there's anybody else that couldn't see the email.
Okay, thank you. Let me spell that out, because a lot of times Shepherd gets misspelled. So
yeah.
my email address is sshepard@visionweb.com. So sshepard@visionweb.com.
After the 31st, will I be able to access any of my remit claims from MDON?
The question was, after the 31st, will I be able to access the remits that are in MDON? We've been actively enrolling everyone in payments through ZerMed. You may have noticed that the number of payments on the MDON side has decreased. That's because of this enrollment effort that we're making. It's a large effort, and I think we've done a really good job of moving people over. So you probably have got remits in the ZerMed side, but to answer the question directly, no. After January 31st, the remits that are in MDON, you will not have, and that are not in ZerMed, which there may be redundancy. There will be times where they're available in both. But the ones that are stored on MDON side, no, you will not have access to those after January 31st. And so it's a great question. I appreciate that question, very much so. And you would be well advised to either print to a PDF or print out a hard copy, God forbid, and store any of that data that you think you might need. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's important to, if you're able to go ahead and get live, submit that mapping file, get live, and start submitting claims via the ZerMed side rather than the MDON side, so that rejections and denials are on that piece of software rather than the other. But the remits, that's a different beast, and we are actively working on moving all of those over, and much of that is already done.
Do we need to modify anything in the CMS form to ease the processing?
When you submit that mapping file, that's when ZerMed takes it and looks at the data, how you have it in your system. Now, most of you are submitting claims via a file format called print image, and it looks like a regular claim. If you opened up that claim, it looks like just like a CMS, but without the red background. There is another way to transmit the data, and that is through a delineated file, which just strings all the data together. It's called an 837. And those files look like garbage to you and I, but to a computer, it's very efficient, and they read them very well. So while it's not necessary to transfer to this other method, it's a good thing to do if you've got the savvy to make it happen. But other than that, no, there's nothing on the claim that you would do differently than you ordinarily would. There are a few payers that have a different payer ID in ZerMed than they do in MDON. Not a whole lot, but a few. So my suggestion would be to move forward. When you encounter a claim that bounces back for a bad payer ID, and Karen, maybe you can speak to exactly what the denial would look like. I'm not sure, but if not, we can get the actual syntax and verbiage. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there. Where was I at?
For
What
a
were we
denied
on?
claim?
Yeah. What was it?
What would it say if it were a denied claim? Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking?
What would it? Yeah. I
The
got
status?
distracted there. What would it say
Well, there's
when you had a denied claim for a bad payer ID? That's where I
for a
was. I'm
bad
sorry,
payer
guys.
ID. Okay. Well, then you're talking about a rejection message, not necessarily a status
Right.
of a claim. The status
Right.
of the claim would be rejected. More than likely, it would be rejected by either ZerMed, or it might say, the status might say rejected by payer. It depends on who rejected it. And as far as the specific message, it would be pretty much like what you just said. It could vary
Okay.
from payer to payer as far as the specific verbiage, but it should be pretty easy to understand that it would be for that specific reason. We work really hard to simplify the rejection messages that we receive from payers, because a lot of times they're pretty, cryptic. And so we work real hard to simplify them and make them like English sentences that you can actually read and understand. So, hopefully that helps.
Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
So there will be instances, or could be instances, of where insurance company here or there has a different electronic address than with ZerMed than they did MDion. If that is the case, then that electronic address, called the payer ID, would be something that is changed in your practice management system. If you have the savvy and set everything up initially yourself, well, great, go for it. If the things that I'm saying right now seem like I'm speaking a foreign language, then call us and we'll walk you through it, and if need be, remote into your system and help you do it and guide you through it.
Maybe we need a little more clarification on this. When will we know that our mapping has been done? How do I get live with ZerMed? And when is the date we can actually start sending batches through ZerMed?
Sure. So if you send us this mapping file which is just the initial file. It's the same file that you send every day of your life. Send us that file. We will have ZerMed do the mapping. They're doing them at a very fast rate, so it shouldn't take much of a turnaround at all. Once they've done that, we're talking, I'm going to be conservative and say a week, okay? But if they, once they map it, then it's a matter of your comfort if level. And because the system is intuitive, anytime there's change, there's going to be some angst. And I completely understand that. You've been using the other system for a decade, maybe. That's how long it's been available. So you can do that one without, thinking twice. This system is better. I got to be honest with you. Take our relationship out of the equation. This system is more robust and more intuitive and gives you better functionality than the old system. But it is a change, and so you have to kind of get used to it. But I digress. The answer to your question is you could conceivably be live in a matter of days. It's just a matter of submitting that test file, us having it mapped, and you saying that you're comfortable with the system.
And if they can let us know when that mapping is done, when they've sent the file.
Yeah, if you upload a file yourself, as Karen has shown today, that can be the mapping file itself. And so if you do that, it would be great for us if you could email myself or Anna and let us know that you did that so that we can track it and make sure that everything happens as it should. Any others?
There's a couple more.
While she's looking for a question, I want to thank all of you, for being our clients all these years and then going through this conversion. I know it's been somewhat messy with MDion and the way that they talk about a few things. So I just really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you for dealing with all of that and for pushing forward with us. This is going to be a good system, and if you're a biller out there, this system gives you a lot more ability to track your information and to kind of segregate denials and rejections into different classes. There's a lot of wonderful functionality that as you grow more comfortable with the system, you'll start to uncover. Okay, what we got?
Okay.
Is there another one?
Yes. We have several accounts under one tax ID, and these are separate subscriptions because I know what this is.
Okay.
Do all accounts need the mapping file even if the file output is the same? We submit an 837.
If the file output is the same for all three, and they're the exact same version number, if the PM system is exactly the same, and they're coming from, like, say you had a server where all three of your businesses were hitting, and you were operating literally from the same PM system, there's zero chance that the file could be different, then no, you would not need to submit a duplicate or a triplicate, a third file. We would need to know, though, that needs to be done, that the mapping needs to happen for the other accounts. So you can either just take it and upload it to all three, or send it to us and let us know that this is the situation and we'll take care of it.
And then he's also asking if, do they need to change their submitter ID in the ISA record?
I'm going to take a moment to say that Karen, do you want to speak to that? I would have to research that. I don't want to throw out an answer that is not 100% correct. So I'd have to research that a little bit.
It might be best if you do, because I'll be honest, I'm not a mapper, and I would not want to tell you wrong. So that would be good. You could definitely research that to make sure.
Yeah. So Jay, we will get the answer for you and reach out to you, as well as maybe blast the answer out or make it available on a blog or something. I'll get with the marketing department, but we'll get the answer out, and if there's something that the masses need to do in that regard, we'll certainly make that known to everyone.
Yeah.
Good complicated question. Good one.
Do payer IDs change from MDON to VisionWeb?
Most of the time they do not, but there are some that do. And Karen, I don't know if you have any off the top of your head, but
would you like me to show the payer list real quick?
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
For those of you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for those of you who are savvy enough to get into your practice management system, OfficeMate, Crystal, whatever it may be, Revolution, and to change the payer ID, this is where you would get that information. I just want to say, and Karen, then I'm going to pitch it back to you, that if this type of conversation is intimidating or confusing, don't let it cause you any undue angst, okay? That's why we're here. We're here to help you with this very kind of thing. So don't get too worked up about this kind of stuff if it's foreign to you.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, if you wanted to, you can view the professional claims payer list by gliding over to payers, click on it, and it looks like today at this moment there's over 5,700 payers on the professional claims payer list. It brings you to a browse screen where you can simply type in a payer name, and I would keep it to one keyword just as a tip there, because if you get too descriptive, it may not find the one you want. But notice I hit enter and it found 35 payers that have the word Aetna in their name. Or I can search using a payer ID if you know the ID and you want to search with that. Just type it in and hit enter or search, and notice it found 9 of them that use that 60054 in their payer ID. Sometimes there's an external payer ID that may be a different number. It just depends. If there is an external ID number, if you, let me just say this. Let's say you search for a payer by putting in an ID number here. And what if you don't find the payer you're looking for? A hint would be to put it over here in the external ID box instead, because if you are searching with an external ID, you can't put it over here. It would need to go in this box on the right. So if you put that number here, you may have better luck finding the one you want if it's in fact an external ID. Real quick, this apps column tells you if that payer is on our professional claims payer list or our eligibility payer list or the remit payer list. So the I stands for institutional claims, P is for professional, E is for eligibility, R is for remits, and S is for claim status. So you could see any combination of initials here, but that way you don't have to go to each different solution and do a separate search. You can see if that payer is on any other payer list. And it also tells you if the payer requires enrollment, yes or no. So if there's a no there, you could go ahead and start sending those right away. If there's a yes there, you do need to get that enrollment activated first. This column will tell you if the payer does take secondary claims electronically. Otherwise, you would see the word paper in this column. And to the right of the outbound format, if there's a notes link there, you can click it, and it just gives you a little fact sheet that it pops up with extra information about that payer. And then this column will tell you if the payer allows dual clearinghouse enrollment, yes or no. So if there's a no there, then you need to terminate your previous clearinghouse enrollment before you can specifically get enrolled through ZirMed. And by the way, if you glide your mouse over the title, it gives you a little description as to what that column is all about. Will the payer accept claims from more than one clearinghouse? And claim attachments you can ignore. That's for workers' comp or auto claims only, and that's a completely separate solution. So just ignore that column for now. So that's how you can browse through the payer list. Another hint, use your state name to look for any government payers or any Medicare, Medicaid, things like that, or a Blue Cross Blue Shield. If you type in BCBS, you're going to get a million different responses. So search with your state name as well. Now, if you click printable, it gives you a printer-friendly version that you can print, but rather than printing it, you might want to just click download CSV, and that will populate that data or give you a download file so that you can see that in a spreadsheet. Also, if you click updates, it'll show you any changes we've made to the listing in the last 90 days. So as we activate new payers to the list or deactivate any, which we do occasionally need to do, this gives you a heads up as to what the latest changes are. And each user will get a different highlighted grouping. It highlights the ones that are new since the last time you visited the screen. The last time I was in here was 12:30. The rest of these are new activations and a few deactivations since then. So that's just a quick overview of your payer list screen.
Anna, do you have another question for us?
Let's see.
While Anna's looking through the questions, we'll tell the group that we're going to, given the questions that I'm getting today, I think that we would be well served by providing you guys with a forum to just bounce any random question that may come up regarding process, not necessarily the software itself. So we're going to stay tuned. We're going to send out some messaging and set up a 30-minute, hour-long just Q&A session, no presentation, just a forum where y'all can bounce questions off of myself and my teammates. So we'll get that out to you so that you have an opportunity to ask some clarifying questions in addition to today, if when they hit you. Let's see.
Some people are asking just for a general phone number, and they would just call our 800 number if you want to give them that.
Can you?
Yeah, so as far as any support issues, here's the number to call. It's the existing customer support issue we have now. It's 800-590-0873.
Let's see, what else we got? Bear with us, guys. Don't think that the dead air is that the phones, that we're not listening or that the call is over. We're just kind of wading through some questions. There is another seminar on the 12th.
Someone was asking about a reject seminar.
Is that don't we?
We don't have that one yet.
Well, they're on the 17th. The 17th. The 17th is on working rejections.
Well, it's actually on the remit solution.
Remit.
Yeah, Thursday
Well,
the
from
12th is
remit, then you would-
eligibility.
If working your rejections is not covered in one of these 3 seminars, then we will definitely be doing one. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get that scheduled, definitely.
Scheduled,
Yeah.
That has to be part of the gig. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would think you'd want one over the claims screen and that incorporate into that how to work your rejected claims. That would be a good one.
I thought that was all encompassed in the remit one, but great question. We will definitely, absolutely provide that to you. No doubt. I was really impressed when I saw the system and the way that it's done, the notes that you can make, the segmentation of the different buckets of claims. I'll give you an example. And Karen, I don't know if we want to get this far into it today.
Yeah.
But in our old system, when something rejected, let's say you submitted 100 claims, or you didn't get a chance to go look at your rejections, and you go back and then you have a big pile of them. You may look at the first one and run through the line of logic and have a diagnosis code problem, right? And then the next one, you look and it's an MPI. It should have been a group, but it was an individual, or vice versa. And then you work a few more, and then you get back to a diagnosis code problem. And you kind of mentally got to get yourself back in that place. And that's not the most efficient way to do it. Well, this system will allow for kind of rules to be written so that you can segment out your rejections into different categories.
Is that what you're talking about, the work groups?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And that, I found that a huge efficiency. So all of your diagnosis code rejections can be put together. All of your member not founds can be put together. You can segment them out that way. Mm-hmm. Karen, did you want to say, have anything to add there?
What Shane is talking about is you have the option to create unique work groups for your rejected claims to filter into based upon a set of predefined rules that are created by your domain administrator. So these are a list of work groups that I have in my training account, but these can be completely created by you guys, yourselves, and based upon a set of rules that are assigned to each one of these, your rejected claims would filter from the top down. Think of it as a funnel. They would go from the top down, go through the rules, and when a rejected claim meets the rule criteria for one, then that's where that rejected claim would filter into, that particular work group. And work groups can then be assigned to specific users or groups of users. So when a user logs in, they would go to their My Work screen. It brings them to this work list, which is a lot like the claim screen that I had up on display previously. And they could go to see the work groups that have been assigned to them. So let's say I want to work on the subscriber issues that have been assigned to me. I have 63 rejected claims at this moment that are rejected. And these are waiting for me to edit these claims and resubmit them. And you can group them by rejection message, which I think on this particular work group, they're all rejected for the same subscriber ID issue. But if I go to the catch-all work group, which is where the overflow rejected claims would go, that's claims that don't meet the specific rules of your other more specific work groups that you've created. So any leftovers, so to speak, would go to the catch-all. So I have 6 different groups of rejections in my catch-all. So these 3 claims are rejected with these 4 rejection messages. These 2 are rejected for the accident date. These 2 have these 2 rejection messages, and so on. So you can view those claims. For example, I can go right to these 2 that have an accident date missing and a state missing. I can view those 2 claims. It shows me the messages here up here, and then I can edit each one at a time by clicking this button, and it takes me to the editor, which is what we'll go through when we create a claims training for you and how to work rejections. So this is just giving you an overview of how the work groups help you take the rejected claims, group them together into a particular work group based upon a set of rules that you guys can create, and then they can be assigned to specific users to work on those rejections in each work group. You don't have to create work groups. They are definitely, you know, a benefit though, if you have, especially if you have multiple people working rejections. So, was there something you wanted to say? No? Okay. We also have the dashboard where you can see how many claims are rejected. You can click this dashboard button, which is traditionally what we've had. This is always what we've had in the past before the workgroup feature came about. It will let you see your whole domain, or you can break it down by account, and you can choose how you want to group your rejection messages. I'll sort mine by rejection message and click Go. So you can see it's pretty similar to the workgroup feature, only these are not assigned to a specific user like they are under My Works. So this just gives you an overview of how many claims you have rejected based upon the grouping that you select. And the quantities are links. So I can click that 8 and it takes me right to the claims screen with those 8 on display, where I can go down and edit each one at a time. So that's just a real quick overview of, you know, a couple different ways to work rejections, whether they're in a work group or not. For example, these are not assigned to a particular work group. If they were, it would show the name of the work group right here. But work groups are something you can test the waters with in the beginning. You can make the rules, you know, I would recommend the rules you use be not too granular. You want to keep them pretty high level in the beginning, and you can always drill down and make them more granular, you know, after you start using them a bit.
Yeah, that's probably something you're going to want to, for those of you who have larger offices that may have multiple people working in an office, then that's a great way to segment out the work and not overlap each other. And for those of you that have smaller offices, it's a great way to mentally keep yourself in the same spot, you know, when you're working these rejections.
Yeah.
Now, Karen, we had a question about remits and where they can find them. And given the fact that we are doing so many enrollments and pushing so many remits over to you guys, can you just briefly show our
real quick? Sure.
friends
Rather
on the
than
phone how you do that?
Absolutely. So to get to the remit solution, you would glide over to claims processing, but rather than going to professional claims, you would click on remits. And it has a dashboard of its own, which is an overview. And basically, your remits, it'll show you how many new payments you've received, how many new download files you have waiting to be auto-posted into your system, and a bunch of other details over here. But basically, you could go to the payment screen to see the payments that have been received. Downloads is where the files will be that are waiting to be automatically posted into your practice management system. You would just simply hover over one and click this download button, which would post it into your system automatically if you have auto posting capability in your practice management system. And then of course the remit screen is where you can drill down to see the specific patients and their payment amounts. You can view an EOB for that patient or view the whole payment EOB under action here. So that pops them up, and you can export data to a spreadsheet or a PDF, and Remits has its own payer list as well, so you can view the Remit payer list right here. The thing about the Remit payer list, every single payer on the Remit payer list does require enrollment. They're all going to need enrollment activated. So, you know, you definitely need to get that done. But that's a real quick overview.
On the enrollment piece, that is a part we play in this. We try to accept all of that burden that we possibly can. So if they're we've got 25 people working on enrollments for our clients at the moment. So if there is an enrollment that you have a problem with or you don't think has been done, again, shoot Anna or myself over an email, and we will take a look at it and make sure that it gets done. I had a few more questions here. Someone's asked me when they would be notified, and as soon as your file is mapped, we will be notified from Karen's team from VisionWeb, and then we will reach out to you and let you know, and have a conversation with you about your comfort level and what you want to do. Since I've been uploading to both areas, can I see my batches in ZerMed? No, not necessarily. We're getting those batches on that upload, that orange button upload, so that when you do go live at the end of the month, we can push those through. Hopefully you go live before the end of the month, but what I'm saying is at the end of the month, we can push all of those files that you've, those duplicate files that you've sent to us through ZerMed. We'll have them deny, reject on purpose, but what that will allow you to do is that when you receive a remit and a denial that needs to be worked, you'll have a file to go correct. So that's the purpose of it at this point. Let's see. Yes. Yes, you can have someone ask for my phone number. Let me, it's one of those things that you type in, you don't even know. So yes, you can call my number directly at 512-241-8618. 512-241-8618. And yeah, if you have any kind of trepidation, angst, questions, feel free. I may not have all the answers, but we'll get the answers for you, okay? Let's see. What else do we have? We still have claims from a 12/9 batch that are still in the cloud due to MDON. Okay, Roger. We'll talk after. Yeah, if anybody's having any kind of weirdness with MDON, please give me a call. Okay, they're not exactly playing nice. They and for the group, I'll give you a little background. MDON informed us that they were sunsetting, which is they were ending their product, and we're going to told us that we had to take all of you to this more expensive product that they were offering. That's what they told us, and we didn't. One, we weren't very thrilled with MDON. I got to be honest with you, and two, they were mandating that we increase your price, almost double your price. So we went out and found a better solution that was not, in our opinion, it's a better solution. I'll say that, in our opinion, a better solution that we would not have to increase your price on. And so that's why we acted. When we did, I guess MDON took offense and decided that they would not sunset it in spite, I guess. I don't know. How long it'll still remain, they may turn it off in 2 months or 6 months. I have no idea. But that's how this all played out, guys. Karen said something that I want to address, and that is that auto posting file. That is something that previously with MDON you could have access to, but you had to pay extra for. And in ZerMed's system, that is something that's included. If you're not familiar with auto posting, that's it's an electronic file with all your payment data, and most of the optometry software allow you to import that file into your system and to be able to automatically post your money. You don't have to, it eliminates the data entry work. You can confirm what is loaded and deal with the exceptions. Now, it doesn't work across the board if you have, say, a discrepancy in name, a maiden name and a given name, and they're different in both systems. Those will create little flags for you, but it does create some efficiency by eliminating data entry work. Also, with ZerMed, we've added if you're familiar with it, there are things called LCDs, NCDs, and CCIs. These are all different rules that are applied by different entities, be it Medicare, the insurance, the commercial payers, rules that you go by in regards to filing claims. So a LCD or an NCD, that's local coverage determination. That's a Medicare policy. And it tells you how frequently you can do a test and what diagnosis codes work with the test. CCIs, those are the edits that prevent, say, one test being performed with another. If you perform an OCT and fundus photography on the same day, I believe those are subject to this rule called a CCI, and one will deny. With MDION, they did not have the ability to apply that criteria on the clearinghouse level. Your claim would go through the submission process and then be subject to those rules at the payer, where you would get a denial or a rejection from the payer. Though that functionality is either included in ZirMed just inherently, or VisionWeb has paid for it to be included inherently. So we've added some things into this process to make this a better, more robust solution, again, without raising your cost. So you should be able to access and really speed up your processes, because you will find that information out at submission rather than at the time it processes. Do we have any other?
There's quite a few questions about enrollment, and I'm answering them individually as well, but we are taking care of all enrollments for you. And if you'd like to check the status of those enrollments, please give us a call at the 800 number that we gave you earlier.
Okay. Jay, I see your question about the multiple files, and no. I know that you have a unique situation, though, so we can talk about that. Hopefully, I know you've had a lot of problems with MDION, Jay, so this will hopefully eliminate all of that. Let's see, what else do we have?
I think.
Do we have, let's see, one moment, guys. And I do personally need to enroll with the cost for ZirMed. If I'm in, Anna, okay, you answered that one, all right. We'll be training for filing secondary claims. Karen, do you have a webinar or a recorded webinar specifically for secondary claims? Did I lose Karen?
I was muted. I do host one here at ZirMed for clients the first and third Mondays of each month at 2 o'clock. So, you know, I don't know. That's one that we have regularly scheduled. Between us and you guys, we don't have one for secondary scheduled, but that's certainly something we can talk about and get scheduled along with claims if you want to. Yeah.
And but you have one for global for ZirMed normally, just not specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first and third Monday of each month, 2 o'clock Eastern is when I host those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be your best course of action there. The only difference is this blue bar may not be blue, it may be gray when you see, you know, there may be some aesthetics that are different when you attend the webinar that Karen just mentioned, but the functionality in the product is the same. Let's see.
Do I need to add provider info to ZirMed, or is that imported from prior system?
Now, is this, these are for import clients? Mm-hmm. Yes, you would need to input that information into the system, but I believe that was done when we created the accounts, was it not? So we created all of your accounts in ZirMed initially when we started this process, and then we're going through and filling in the different pieces of it. So I don't believe anyone in this group did not have what was in their system added to it, but I'll need to confirm that.
But I think, Karen, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they do still have to add their provider info.
Are we talking about claims direct data entry now? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
no. Oh, okay.
No, for the import clients.
Okay.
So not that DDE effort that we're making.
Okay. So for regular import claims clients, what's the question then?
Do I need to add provider info to ZirMed, or is that imported from prior systems?
Okay, if you're uploading in your batches a print image file like Shane talked about earlier, or an 837 file, that type of data typically comes over on the claim in that file, your provider information. So they don't have to go anywhere like the providers and add them in or anything like that. You know, it should come in, import in your file that you upload on your batches screen.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Good
Thank
question.
Yeah, great question.
Good answer too. We like that. So basically, you don't need to do anything. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
Another question is. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Go ahead. Finish.
No,
your
go
thought.
ahead. Go ahead. That's okay.
Okay. There's a question here. Is it possible that remits and payments are posted into VisionWeb but not into MDON? Do I need to be checking both areas to be posting my payments? Absolutely, that's possible. As we do these enrollments, they'll shift. Some will fall into both buckets, but there are some that will move over to VisionWeb and exclusively. And that's actually a good thing. I'm sorry if the information didn't make it to you and you didn't, if there was a gap in there and we're responsible, I'm sorry for not informing you. But yes, that is what we want to happen. We want those remits to start showing up in VisionWeb because the MDON is going to be going away at the end of January. So the more we can get over there and the quicker we can get it, the better. And so, but to answer your question, yes, absolutely you need to check both areas. Let's see. Cindy, you look like you have a very specific question. And it's a little more involved, so I'm going to address that offline, but I will address it, okay? Let's see. Anybody else? In reference to the auto post, does it also post adjustments or just payments? No, it does the whole thing. It will, whatever is reflected on the remit.
On the EOB, yeah.
It would, yeah, exactly. It would allocate in your system. So if you had a contractual discount of $10, patient liability from a copay of $20, and a payment of $50, it's going to put that information in the appropriate box in your PM system, assuming your PM system is one of those that will accept a file. In most of the ones that are being used out in our client base do accept it. It's just something how well it works. Some of them work really well. Others, they're little glitches and stuff, but that's to the PM system. But yes, it will automatically allocate all of the adjustments and payments. Absolutely. So, and if you have questions surrounding that, again, you would have had to pay, I think, $25 a month
minimum
to for that file previously, and it's included in this one. So now it's just a matter of education and your desire to do that. If you're posting a ton of payments, it is an efficiency you can create. I think we're good. I think that covers this. Karen, let me say thank you to everyone. I appreciate you being here. And Karen, you want to wrap it up?
Well, thank you all as well. I appreciate you letting me come in here and show you guys how to upload a batch and help you out with anything else that we covered. I know we ran over time, but all these questions, when Shane jumped on, these have been fantastic questions, and more than happy to make sure you get the answers that you guys need. So if anybody needs those phone numbers or email address, again, just let us know. But thank you all so much. And again, this Thursday, the 12th, I'll be hosting the eligibility training, show you how to use the eligibility verification solution. And then next Tuesday, we've got scheduled the remits training to show you how to use the remits solution. And we'll keep you posted if there's any additional trainings that we add as well. So thank you all so much for your time and attention today. I guess that just about wraps it up today. Again, I apologize we ran over time, but think this has been excellent information that you guys needed, obviously. So if I can do anything further, just let me know. Otherwise, when you're ready, you could go ahead and log off the webinar by clicking the X in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll take you right on out. So you guys have a fantastic day, and thank you guys at VisionWeb for all of your help and participation today. This has just been wonderful working with you guys.
Oh, pleasure. I think we really accomplished something here today. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Okay. I'll take care.
Take care. Do you want me to go ahead and close out the session, or are you guys going to take care of that?
Close it out. Yeah, close it out and get the recording. So,
okay, great.
Thank you, everyone.